Hey everyone, Hitesh here from ET's personal technology team. I just wanted to give you a quick overview of this new phone that we have. Now keep in mind that it's not launched yet, so we don't have the final price, but we do have an estimated price which we'll tell you at the end of the video. This is the Alcatel A5 LED, and it doesn't really look anything special at first glance, right? I mean, it's just a pretty regular looking phone. There's a fingerprint sensor here. There are the Android back and recents button on either side. They're backlit, as you can see, and it's got the regular size bezels, not like any slim bezels or anything. But if you turn it around, that's where you'll start to see that there's something different. Now, I don't know if you can see this in the video, but these circles are actually RGB LEDs. There are 35 of them in this back panel, and they can light up in different colors. They can light up for notifications, for incoming calls, and you can set different kinds of colors and themes for different callers. So that's something quite interesting. Now, this is actually a removable back, and Alcatel is going to call them mods. They actually showcased this phone in the Mobile World Congress earlier this year, and there are different mods available. So for instance, we have this one, which is the battery mod, and we'll show you that in just a short while. This has the LED mod on, and there's also just the regular back case, which without any extra functions. Now that will make the phone slightly lighter and thinner as well. But as you can see, it's pretty thin even with this LED case on. So let's take a look and see what's special about it. So if you look at the phone itself, it's a MediaTek MT6753 processor. It's an octa-core. There's 3 GB of RAM, 16 GB of storage. It's a 5.2-inch IPS LCD, and it's a 1280 by 720p screen. So not full HD there. So that way you know that it's obviously not going to be a very expensive phone. With a 5.2-inch and 720p screen, that gives you a pixel density of about 282 pixels per inch. It's running Android 6.0 Marshmallow, not a newer version. It's most phones now are 7.0, and the newest ones are going to run on 8.0. As for the camera, around the back there's an 8 megapixel f2.0 autofocus rear camera, and there's a dual LED flash there. For the front, there is a 5 megapixel fixed focus front camera, and there is also an LED flash for the front, and it has the usual Wi-Fi and FM. The internal battery is 2800 milliamps. Now with the mod, with the battery mod that I just showed you, this one, when you add this onto the phone, the total battery capacity jumps to 5900 milliamps. So instead of carrying a separate charger, you can actually use this to boost the battery life on your phone. So let's take a look at the LED mod first. That's the one that we have on the device right now. So it comes with an app called Light Show that's right here, and when we start that up, you'll see that there are different themes: meteors, fireworks, stars, rain, and so on. So let me just put on meteors, and you play it, and you can see the LEDs come to life. And I'll put on another theme, fireworks. This is fireworks, twinkling stars. Then there's rain, flames. Now that also changes the color, and city lights, and you get the idea. There's a few more themes here: waves and a highway, rhythm, etc. So you can do this, and using the Light Show app, you can also set it to play with music, and you can set it to play on incoming calls or with app notifications. These are the apps that you can select: calendar, email, Facebook, Gmail, Instagram, and so on. And when it comes to your calls, you can actually set a different theme for different callers. So if you can set your favorites or your normal contacts, it can light up for that. Or you can choose individually 3 contacts, and that way if the phone is kept face down, you'll know exactly who's calling just by looking at the notification on the back. So that's about it for the way the LEDs work. It looks pretty cool, especially at night. It is fairly distinct, fairly unique. Now, when I remove this back cover, I want to show you how it connects to the phone. So when you remove the back cover, it comes off just like the old removable back covers. And here you'll see that it has two SIM card slots here, and there's a dedicated micro SD. But in the middle of that, there's these little connections over here. And on the mods, they have pogo pins that actually line up with this connection. So that's how this LED case operates. That's how it gets its power and the signal directly from the phone. Now, if we look at the battery mod, in the same way, there is an extra battery over here, and that connects to the phone using these pogo pins, and they plug into the same little connection over there. So it's actually a pass-through. So you have to connect the micro USB power through this, and it doesn't really charge this. It charges it when it is plugged into the phone, and only then will you first charge up the phone, and when the phone is full, it charges up. Let me show you. So now that the battery mode is on, we can open it up. And you'll see that the battery here is at 78%. Now, if you need to switch to backup power, you just press the button on the back. This will also tell you with these three little LEDs how much power is left in the battery pack of the case. So click that, the three LEDs light up, and now you will see that it's actually charging the internal battery of the phone. So that's how the battery case works. Now at MWC, they had also showcased the speaker mod. We're not clear if they have that here as well, or if they will be getting that. But what we do know is that for a start, at least, when this phone goes on sale very soon, they will be selling it and actually bundling a regular cover, the LED mod, and the battery mod together. So you'll get all these things when you buy the phone. So the lights are pretty cool, but there are a couple of other nice features on it. There's, for instance, there's turbo download, which helps you combine the 4G and Wi-Fi speeds to give you faster downloads. There's a few gestures, like you can do the 3-finger screenshot or flip the phone to mute it. And there's a little parallax effect. If you can tell, when you move the phone from left to right, the wallpaper moves a little separately compared to the icon. So that parallax effect is there. It's nice. Now coming to the negatives of the device, we didn't find the cameras really that good. It's okay, it's possible, but you'll find better cameras at this price, and we'll just tell you a couple of options that you can also consider if you don't want the LED and the mods, if you're not interested in the mods. So the other thing that we also tested was the benchmarks. So this is the AnTuTu score of the device. It's about 36,965, and the Geekbench score puts it at a 597 for the single core and 2,400 for the multi-core. Now something like the Redmi Note 4 for example, which costs about 12,999, that will give you, for instance, double the score of this. So you'll get much better performance for your games and things like that. This one, while the general operation is fine, but for really intensive tasks like games, you might find it struggling a bit. So we feel that this device, along with the mods, that means the LED mod and the battery mod, should be priced at between 12 to 14,000. Now this is a pretty competitive market, especially at this price point. And you've got a lot of different options. Like I mentioned, the Redmi Note 4 for 12,999. You actually get 4 gigabytes of RAM and 64 gigabytes of storage. This one has 3 gigabytes of RAM and 16 gigabytes of storage. There's also the Moto G5. Now the Moto G5 at 13,000 is double the storage at 32, but it also has a much better camera. Then there's the Honor 6X, which has the dual camera for 10,000. That's also the 32 GB version. There's the LG Q6, which gives you the full vision display with really narrow bezel. That's for about 14,000, which is also 32 GB. There's the Lenovo Z2 Plus for 10,000. And there's the newly launched Tenor 10.OR, Tenor G phone, which is also a dual camera phone for 13,000. The 13,000 will get you the 64 GB variant there. So a lot of competition there. For this phone, it's really about the mods. And if you find something like this appealing, the LEDs or being able to snap a battery case on, Now, a battery case will not really be available for any of these other phones that I just mentioned. You do get them for high-end Samsungs and iPhones, but then those battery cases themselves cost about 5 to 6,000 rupees each. And mostly what people tend to do is buy battery packs and use them, and then you just plug them in when you need it. This just gives you a more integrated solution with the battery pack here. And like I mentioned, when you combine the built-in battery of 2800 and the 3100, in this case it brings you up to 5900 milliamps, which should give you easily 2 full days of use. So that's about it for the Alcatel. It should launch in India very, very soon, within the next day or so, and then we will be also doing a full review of this.